Yeah, so Thailand, he introduced me to some fantastic places out there, some fantastic people. I love the Thai people. They're so much fun. And my dad was a bit of a miserable one over here. Um, it would get him down to be in. He liked to travel a lot. I mean, he literally 6 months of the year he would bugger off to Thailand, then go to India, went to Australia, went to Canada. See family, that kind of thing. But he didn't like the cold over here because obviously he was from India anyways, from Calcutta, Anglo Indian, and so he had the travel bug. And my dad came here in 1962, and got a job and all of that, and then he met my mum. Yeah, so going back to Thailand, so yeah, he gave me the travel bug. So for a couple of years, I would go all the time. And now with the whole COVID thing, I don't know if I'll ever be going again, to be honest. Anyway, so we did that in between fallings out a few times. And I'm going to go forwards to January the 11th, 2013. Now, just previous to this, 2 months earlier, I had gone to Thailand with my boyfriend at the time. I would say the love of my life, really. But that's broken up since then, quite a long time ago now. We was out there on holiday, meeting my dad in Pattaya in Thailand, doing all the clubs and stuff like that. And I always tend to get a really bad stomach out there. I suffer from ulcerative colitis anyway, so it's really not good if you're away. And he, we had a was it 2 or 3 weeks out there? I can't remember now. 3 weeks was it? Okay, yeah, 3 weeks. And I was just jumping in the taxi to go, and Dad came and saw me off from where we were staying, a place called Mama's Apartments. It was a lady that we always went to stay with, and he would stay, as I say, for 6 months. And he was begging me not to go. He said, "Sonny, you can change your ticket. Why don't you stay for a bit longer?" And I said to him, I said, "No, Dad, I'm not going to do that. My tummy's not been so good, so I haven't really had such a great time out here. And I wish that I'd stayed now." That holiday, we seemed to be very, very close. And in the morning, I would go up to the market on the 10 baht tuk things out there, and come back with all these lovely Thai soups and all different kinds. And by that time, he would be awake. And so he would have these soups for his lunch or his breakfast, something like that. So that was our little thing that we had out there. And just before I left, I gave him like loads of food to make sure he was all right in his room, because he had all the kitchen stuff in his room because he was there for such a long time. And then the next thing I hear is, as I say, we've got to January the 11th, 2013. I get a phone call from my brother to say that my dad had passed away. And I thought, this cannot be true. He was 72, and he would go out partying with the girls. I mean, he really liked the girls. He was an absolute ladies' man, wasn't he, Mum?
Yeah.
To say the least. Literally, to say the least, right? So he had girlfriends out there, and lots of fun. Dad was a bit like a 21-year-old guy out there. He would go out, as I say, for like 10 hours at a time, and I was in the room opposite him, and my dad still wasn't in for half the day, and I was a lot younger than him, obviously, and I couldn't even go out that long. The guy was a party animal right until the end. So he obviously had a bad stomach, didn't call any of us, and he was ill for a few days, and gone, just like that. And it was such a shock, because I'd seen him and he was fine, as I say, going out for 10 hours a day with his girlfriends out there, with the ladies that, that he met in the bars out there. And I met a few of them. I'd knock on his door in the morning. Dad had another girl in the bed, and I'd say, like, "Oh, I'll come back later," And I would make jokes with him and say, "Oh, I know I've got a family out here, really, Dad." And he was like, "Don't say things like that, you go upsetting, my little brother and sister and his wife." But, I was only joking. but it was possible. Yeah, so it was the worst time of my life when he passed away, and I'm still not over it now, and this is years later. It's 2021 now. And anyway, I went back to Thailand to find out what happened because it wasn't clear. And the Thai death certificate came back and it said that he died because his heart had stopped. Well, don't we all die when our heart stops? That doesn't really tell us anything, does it? I went back and I found out that he had a very, very bad case of food poisoning. He went to the hospital, and one of the ladies that was staying there said he would not pay, I think it was about £50 in Thai bahts to stay in hospital, to go on a drip and things like that. My dad was a bit tight like that, in that way, so he wouldn't, look after himself, but he would give somebody else money, if you know what I mean. He was kind in other ways. But yeah, he didn't like to be ripped off or anything like that. If he, he would barter over T-shirts over literally like pence. He would have a go at me if I brought a fake watch out there saying that he could have got it cheaper. It was up and down like that, So that caused me a lot of pain for a lot of years, and I still have never had pain like that, and it changed my entire life. I think it changed me from maybe being a bit selfish before to thinking more about people, their feelings first. Yeah, and not to be too selfish, maybe. So I went back and I found out what happened to him. And in that time, I didn't know if he was murdered. I didn't know all sorts of things. I know that a lot of his belongings went missing. His money went missing. Thousands of pounds. And someone stole his cameras and the cards, the memory cards that went in them. He took a lot of pictures out there on that last holiday. Those never came back. So something has always given me a bad feeling about this. But anyway, he refused to stay in hospital, discharged himself, and he died just from being sick and, diarrhea, and when he should really have he didn't have travel insurance either, so that was that. And so I have lots of nice memories now. I have lots of nice memories, but for a long time, because I didn't know, and having his body brought back over here and having him buried, it was just horrible. And I will say something else as well. I will never go and see a relative in their coffin again. It was just awful. And so that still pains me a lot. But that's what happened, and that's that. But yeah, I think that's all I can say about that. I think I'm getting a bit emotional now. All right, thank you again for listening. Thanks for listening to my life story. Give me a subscribe, a comment, or a like, as I'm trying to grow my channel. Thank you for your time. If you listen to this all the way to the end, you're a superstar. Thank you very, very much, and cheers, and I'll see you again. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.